Hi, we're Team 14. I'm Thomas Oja.
I'm Jacob Martin.
I'm Josh.
And this is our presentation on the ethics of gift giving in the industry. So basically we're going to start with a gift giving case summary of what we read for our assignment. And basically the article outlines the negative effects of bribery to begin with, and this includes it corrupts the free market because the best product will not always win. The product which is bribed by a salesman will win. So and this also means that the rich will always win, because if you have two different salesmen and one has a deeper pocket than the other, he can convince the engineer to buy the product more handily than the person who doesn't have the pocket that is as deep. So, and this also creates a general distrust of institutions. And this is not only engineering; this could be for countries, for police, for everything. If people believe that the industry can be bribed, then they don't trust it. And this has actually been the cause of revolutions within society throughout history. If people don't trust the government, they'll revolt against it. And a lot of that is due to corruption from the government caused by bribery. And also degrades the respect for humans. It makes people treat each other as commodities that can be bought and sold rather than people who deserve respect for their product and things like that. And it also talks about when gift giving and accepting should be considered bribery. Basically, the scope is not clear. Gift giving could be something huge, something small, something before the fact, something after the fact. And to outline this unclarity, it talked about Tom and the salesman. And basically, this example put Tom, a product manager who's in charge of building a new site for a chemical process. And basically, case one is when Tom has to buy valves. He buys the valves, he buys a lot of them, they're safer, they're better than the other valves, and then after the fact, the salesman approaches him and thanks him for the sale and gives him a small pen worth $5, and that's clearly not bribery. Case 10, on the other hand, is when Tom is approached by a salesman before buying the valves and then is offered a big trip in return for buying the valves, and that's obviously bribery. And then case X is when Tom knows the valves are better, he buys the valves. After buying the valves, the salesman approaches him and says, "Hey, thanks for buying my valves. Would you like a trip to South America, all expenses paid?" And that is very unclear about whether that's bribery or not, even because he purchased the valves because they're better, but he was also given a gift in the end for buying the valves, so it's pretty unclear. And then to combat this scope of unclarity, most companies have a strict policy against gift giving and accepting.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about the codes that are violated by gift giving. And so to start off with, we have a fundamental principle 2 that says that you have to be honest and impartial dealing with both your customers and the public. So for example, in gift giving, it's not being impartial, so it gives the certain salesmen, like Tommy said, the richer salesman gets to have a leg up in the deciding factor of getting a product or getting preference in dealing with companies. And so that violates that code instead of being fair and impartial to all the other options. Then it also violates Canon 1, which was holding paramount the safety, health, and welfare of the public and performance of professional duties. So if, for example, the valve wasn't actually better than the one that they were considering, then it jeopardizes the safety of the plant and the safety of the crew that work within the plant. And so when bribery is put into account, the quality of the product or the service isn't as influential as the money that gets transferred or gifts that are given. So finally, for Canon 4, it violates Canon 4, which is that they should act in professional matters as faithful agents of trustees, so acting in the best interest of the company, or making sure that conflicts of interest aren't there, or that there is an appearance of those conflicts of interest. And so really gift giving, whether it was acting as bribery or just as a gift after the fact, gives the appearance of bribery or influence in the decision that was made. So then, really, no matter what, whether it's a gift or not whether a gift or a bribe, it will always violate canon number 4.
So RT believes that accepting or giving gifts is completely unacceptable in the engineering profession, and that's simply because gifts more than money are the most common form of bribery, and even though people giving and accepting gifts sort of see it as a nondescript way of buying out favors or selling out favors, that's not the case. It's fairly obvious every single time it happens. It also tends to set precedents for sellers. When they give you a gift and then you buy what they're trying to sell you, they're likely to give you a gift again, and you sort of end up in a really unhealthy relationship where they keep handing you stuff and you're expected to, 1, accept it, and 2, act on whatever they want you to do. Even if you aren't doing that, even if you're just accepting the gifts as a form of friendship or whatever, in the public opinion, that may not be the best thing to do, because from the outside, from an external perspective, it may seem like you are still accepting bribes. And so, like in one of the cases in the report, you may be accepting a gift while still buying the best quality nuts and bolts from the supplier at the cheapest price. But the outside public doesn't know about that, so all they see is you're accepting a big gift and then you're buying that product. So that doesn't have the image of the seller or the buying company. And obviously the last thing is that it sort of leads to a foot in the door psychology. So even though you get given a gift and you accept it and the person doesn't ask for anything else in return, it is possible that they may in the future, and they may see this opportunity as, oh, I'll let them know right now and then I'll come collect my favors later. So all of that adds up and ends up being a really ugly situation, and that's definitely something you want to avoid. So again, we do strongly believe that accepting or giving gifts in this profession is not acceptable.
Nice.
Thank you.